everybody, it's Linda. Welcome back to Tips for You. Well, I have a great recipe to share with you today. It is my gluten-free healthy brownies. These are fantastic. My whole family loves them and they're so simple to make. They're gluten-free, they're super high in protein, they have high fiber, lots of vitamins and minerals and antioxidants and phytosterols and phytoestrogens and calcium and vitamin D. They are like a meal. And they are so guilt-free. You don't have to feel bad when you eat them. They will curb that sweet tooth, they'll satisfy you, and they'll nourish you at the same time. I think you're really going to love them. I'm going to show you step by step how to make it. Super easy. So let's get right into it, and I'll show you what you need. And our first ingredient is Bob's Red Mill gluten-free brownie mix. There are directions on the back. We are going to semi-follow them for the brownie mix, but we are going to make our own brownies from this. This serves as a base for my recipe. Next, you'll need egg beaters, and I use egg beaters instead of real eggs because I like to taste the batter sometimes, and I don't want to have to worry about salmonella bacteria. They're also cholesterol-free. And our next ingredient is extra virgin olive oil, always by extra virgin cold pressed. This is a great brand by California. And of course, olive oil is rich in healthy monounsaturated fats. It contains large amounts of antioxidants, strong anti-inflammatory properties. It's very healthy for you. Our next ingredient is oatmeal, and I use the quick oats to cook because they cook more thoroughly and much quicker. But if you have the regular oatmeal, that will work too. You just have to cook it a little bit longer. And in case you're not familiar, oatmeal is gluten-free, and it's very nutritious. It's rich in antioxidants, contains powerful soluble fiber, one of which is called beta-glucan, which increases the growth of good bacteria in the digestive tract, so it promotes healthy gut flora. It also helps lower cholesterol levels, helps protect LDL cholesterol from free radical damage, it improves blood sugar, and it's very filling, so it can help you lose weight. And our next ingredient is oat bran. And oat bran is the outside casing of the oat grain. And it contains 50% more fiber and soluble fiber than oatmeal. It's very, very effective at lowering cholesterol and helping digestion. It also has more protein, calcium, iron, thiamine, phosphorus, riboflavin, magnesium, and zinc than oatmeal. Both oatmeal and oat bran are so incredibly healthy for you. And our next ingredient is flaxseed meal, but you can grind your own flax seeds to make your own meal if you prefer. Flaxseed contains omega-3 essential fatty acids, super important for hair and skin, and helping balance your estrogen levels because they contain both plant estrogens and lots of antioxidants. They're wonderful for your heart health as well. And our next ingredient is milk. You're going to need milk to cook your whole grains. I use skim milk, but you can use any milk that you would like. Milk adds calcium and vitamin D and protein and potassium. It's more nutritious for you than using water. And our next ingredient is lentils. Lentils are very high in protein. In fact, when combined with the oatmeal in the brownies, you'll have a complete protein containing all 9 essential amino acids. They're very high in fiber, both soluble and insoluble, so they are a complex carbohydrate. They provide steady, slow-burning energy, excellent for helping you lose weight. And they help keep your blood sugar stable too. They're an excellent source of iron. They're very low in calories. A cup of cooked lentils is only about 230 calories, and they really keep you satisfied. They're an excellent source of folate, and they're very rich in phytoestrogens. And I've got some red lentils that I've already opened, so I'm going to be using my red lentils up first in this recipe. And red lentils are super high in phytoestrogens, and they have all the same amazing benefits as the regular lentils. You're going to need Nestle's semi-sweet chocolate chip morsels, spray olive oil to coat your pan, and finally you'll need a 13 by 9 inch pan, and I prefer Pyrex glass. And here's a list of all the ingredients that I just went over so that you have it nice and handy when you make the recipe. Now for the instructions on how to prepare the brownie mix. And our first step is to cook the lentils. And you're going to cook 1 cup of lentils, and I have plenty of red lentils. I thought I didn't, but I do. So I'm just going to use the red lentils. I don't need to go into the other package for the regular lentils. I'll just save them for next time. So you'll always want to look through your lentils to make sure there's no little pieces of stone or dirt. And then you're going to rinse them with fresh tap water. Just swish them around in the water, and then you're going to dump the water into a strainer, collecting the beans. Now you'll want to repeat that 1 more time. Just put the beans back in the pot, fill it with water, and swish your hand around. Dump it out again, and this time you're going to put the beans back in the pot, and you're going to fill the pot with water to cover the beans well. Probably at least an inch or 2 above the beans, because a lot of it is going to be absorbed by the beans, and you don't want to run out of water while the beans are cooking. Now we're going to put them on the stove to cook. Just turn the heat on high and bring them to a boil. When your lentils begin to boil, like a real good rolling boil, stir them up. Make sure there's none stuck on the bottom. Okay, then you're going to turn your heat down to simmer, and you're going to put a lid on them. And then you're going to simmer them for 20 minutes. You just want to periodically check. Stir it a little bit, make sure nothing's getting stuck on the bottom and that you haven't run out of liquid, because if you have, you might want to add more, but we're doing fine. Okay guys, they're done. So all you're going to do now is just leave them on the stove and just let them cool, and then you'll be ready to make your brownies. Once your lentils have cooled down a bit, then you can do the next step, which is to cook the grains. So first we're going to add 2 cups of oatmeal. Next we'll add 1 cup of oat bran, 2 tablespoons of flaxseed meal, and now we're going to add milk. Cover the grains good. Add a lot of milk. It's probably about 2 cups, because the grains are going to cook in the microwave and they're going to soak up a lot of the milk. Check it while it's cooking and make sure you don't need to add any more. Now, in case you're wondering, you have to cook the oats first. You cannot just add them uncooked to your brownie mix. It won't come out good. Now we're going to cook our bowl of oats in the microwave for about 6 minutes. Everybody's microwave is different, so be sure to check yours. And if it needs more time, then give it more time. And if it needs more milk, then add milk. But check it midway through. Okay, guys, I believe it's done. That was 7 minutes. And see, it's pretty thick now. I'll just stir it up, and then it will continue to cook a bit. So cover it up with a plate and just let it continue to cook while you prepare now the batter. Okay, so we're going to put this aside, and then we're going to get back to the process of preparing the brownies. Okay, let's start out by putting the brownie mix into the bowl. Add 3 eggs, just like it calls for on the package, and I'm using egg beaters, the equivalent of 3 eggs. And next we're going to add about 1/4 cup of olive oil. The package calls for 1/2 cup of melted butter, but I'm not going to use butter. I'm going to use olive oil. It's better for you, and we're going to cut back on the amount that we need because we're going to have plenty of moisture in these brownies with the other ingredients that we're going to add. Now we've got our ingredients in the bowl. We're just going to put that aside for a minute and work on the lentils. And your next step is to puree your lentils. Just puree your cooked lentils in your blender. Start out on low speed and then transfer it to high speed. You want them real fine. And if you think you need to add a little liquid to it to get it to blend better, then add just a little bit of water if you think you need to. They completely liquefy very quickly. So there you go, you've got them all beaten up. Yours is going to be darker if you've used the darker lentils. I used the red lentils so they look yellow. Alright, so we're going to put that aside for the moment. And now we are all ready to put this whole thing together. We'll go back to our batter and we're going to mix this all up, and then we're going to start adding our bean mixture. It's going to be a bit dry at first, and then you can start mixing in some of your bean mixture. And that's going to make it really mix up quick. And you start adding the beans first. And then once this is more mixed, we'll add the oatmeal in. So continue to add your bean puree in. Once you've worked all the beans in, then mix it real well. Okay everyone, they are good and mixed. Now remove the plate from your oatmeal mixture and we're going to add it to the brownie mix. So you just spoon it right in. I usually just add a little bit at a time to help, it helps you mix it better. This is a good time for you to just set your stove at 325, which is what the package requires. And I just did that before I came back. So it's good and heated up when you're ready to put your brownies in. Just add the remainder. Be gentle with it. You've got a real full bowl here. You want to get the oatmeal in quickly because the oatmeal, if it's exposed to air, will start to cake and harden. So the moment you take the plate off, just put it right in. Try not to wait. Don't get distracted or something. Just keep working with it. Once it's in the liquid, it'll be fine. I don't think I need to add any extra water to this because it's plenty liquidy. The last ingredient that we're going to be adding before we put it in the oven is the chocolate chips. We don't want to add them too soon because we don't want them to melt. We want to put them in right before we put this batter into the oven and put it right in the oven. If you don't, you'll be stirring it all into, this is warm. Feel it's warm, there's warmth coming off of it from the warm oatmeal. And then my beans weren't exactly cold. I mean, they were still a bit warm, so this is warm. So you don't want those chocolate chips to just melt. And now it's time to transfer our batter to the 13 by 9 inch baking dish. But first we're going to spray it with a little olive oil so that they don't stick. When your stove has reached 325 degrees, now you can put 1 cup of chocolate chips into your batter and stir them around to mix them in. Fold them in, stir them in nicely throughout the batter, and if you think you want more, you put more, but I'm happy with a cup. Don't want to stir it too much because you know you'll be melting your chips, so definitely be gentle about it. You just want to distribute them around so that they don't all fall and collect in one area. Now you just want to pour the batter right into the pan. Make sure it's evenly distributed. Okay everyone, it's time to put it in the oven. So now the package calls for 30 minutes of cooking, but this is going to take much longer than that. So we are going to start out with cooking it for 40 minutes and then we'll check it. So we're going to start out with 40 minutes cooking it, and then when it's firm in the center, we'll know it's done, and you'll just tap it, just gently like press on it, and it cannot be like mushy, and then you'll know, and I'll show you when it's ready. So we're going to let it cook, and I'm going to clean up, and I will be back when it's ready. Here's a quick recap for you of all the steps to prepare the brownie mix so you have it real handy when you go to make the brownies. Okay guys, I just took them out of the oven. There you go. They look delicious. They've got to really cool. It's going to take a while for this to cool, and then I will I'll cut a piece and I'll show you what they look like. So what I usually do is I keep some in the refrigerator and then I also freeze some so that I've always got a supply going, and then you just put them in the refrigerator out of the freezer and defrost them. So I'll just like cut it in half, and then I'll cut half of it in half again. And then I kind of stack 2 on top of each other, and I freeze, 2 at a time. So this will generate 4 little bags, 4 little blocks. I'll keep, maybe 2 in the refrigerator and 2 in the freezer, so we have always got some. So I'll be back, and I'll show you what they look like, and we'll take a bite, and then I'll say goodbye to you all, okay? Back soon. Okay, so I'm going to cut it. It really does need to cool longer, but I'm just going to cut a little piece from the end. It's a little cooler on the end, just to show you. And I usually eat it in slices anyway rather than squares, but I just want to show you what it looks like. So basically that's it. You can see all the little melted chocolate chips in there, and it's just delicious. See some of the grains. It's really, really good. So you know what to expect. I just want to tell you that the texture of the brownies is more cake-like, especially when they're warm. Once cooled, they condense, and they're more actually creamier and fudgier. And the best way to store them is wrapped in aluminum foil, and they need to be stored in the refrigerator. Here are some suggestions for you on how you can enjoy your delicious, healthy, gluten-free brownies. So now it's time to try it. They're incredible when they're warm. So delicious. I hope you guys love them too. Let me know if you make them and if you love them as much as I do. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe because I have a lot more to come, something of interest to everyone. And please visit me at my blog spot where I do a lot of writing. And I'm also on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, so we can stay connected there as well. Okay, well, thanks so much for viewing this video. Bye-bye now.